Sean here. Welcome back. We're going to continue this series where I watch all the skate parts I've ever done. Today it's going to be Tactics Board Shop from 2003. The video was called Low Key. I was on the first Tactics Board Shop skate team with a handful of Eugene, Oregon riders. And this was their second video, produced and directed by myself. I edited most of it. These days it's pretty obscure, but there was DVDs of it floating around in circulation at some point. What I'm trying to do with this series, there's the superficial level where it's just skateboarding, bro. Like you just rode a skateboard and did some tricks, cool. Sure, there's that superficial level. But if you dedicate all your time to a hobby, whatever it is, rocket making, skateboarding, bike riding, wrestling, whatever it is, if you become fully obsessed and you spend on the scale of decades with something, your life, you grow as a person. That activity speeds up your growth as a person, and you learn about yourself and discover yourself because you're given a tool to do so. Skateboarding is, I'm not going to say I don't give a shit about it, but it's 600th on the list of things I care about now. And back when this was filmed, it was number 2 or 3 or something on the list of things in the world that I cared about. I spent a lot of years living all around downtown Eugene. If ever there was a place where I feel like a loc dog, it's Eugene. I'm just loced out in Eugene. 20 years old here, been skating 7 years. I've been shop sponsored for a couple of years. By getting free decks with Tactics, that I already said how grateful I was in the last video. That just pushed my skating physically to the next level. Just having somebody recognize your ability and showing any kind of sign of support, that just makes you want to give it back. It's just positive energy all around. They were positive about me. I was positive about them. I wanted to represent the shop. I wanted to get footage. And then I just used that as an excuse to push myself really hard and try my absolute hardest to get better at skateboarding. And I loved just as much about skating and learning tricks as I did making these edits. And so for me, that was a motivation to get better tricks, was because I was so excited about putting edits together. I don't want to get into any drama about anything, but at this point, there was a rival shop situation. There was Board Sports. They're the OG, original By Skaters, For Skaters board shop. And then Tactics came later. And it's so stupid all these years now for me to think about, having lived in all these other places now and other board shops, and just the little micro politics of spots and how things have changed so much. But back then, if you were involved in this at all, it was a really big deal. And there was beefs and mini beefs and micro beefs between the two shops and between the two teams. And part of it was just purely just for fun, just kind of a competitive boys kind of edge, just kind of two different football teams. Part of it was just for fun. We would also skate with each other, and we were also friends with each other on the Board Sports team with a lot of them. It was all mostly good vibes, but then there would be little tensions, and I'm not going to name names or point out moments, but over several years, over a 10-year period almost, there was tensions between these teams, if not all-out beefs sometimes. And so anyway, leading up to the filming of this, by let's say one of the highest profile skateboarders to come out of Eugene called me a faggot in front of people just because of my emo clothes or whatever. And that sucks. That's a put down. And he's somebody I looked up to, and I just had to roll with it. I'm just I just told myself, you know what, man, I'm not gonna get offended what anybody thinks early on. I just made up my mind I'm just not gonna spend my time getting offended about what somebody thinks about my outfit, my tricks. If it's good enough, it's only good enough for me. It's my bar that I'm going to be going against for everything. Like, I'm gonna set my bar, and that's what I'm shooting for. And I recognized really early on, like when I was in that room at my previous part in front of hundreds of people, like, if you're gonna do this, like, you got to get over seeing yourself on screen in front of like tons of people. You got to get over like the image of your face on video, the sound of your voice. Like, we're all embarrassed by it. Like, everybody's embarrassed by it, and everybody's more embarrassed thinking about it for themselves than they are watching you. Everybody's self-absorbed, like nobody cares. So like early on I made up my mind, like, you got to get over, like, you be who you are to be comfortable with, and then you just like accept that on film. Synthwave kind of stuff, dance music, this shit was coming in like so hard. This was like the early days of when this 1980s like synth sound was coming back. Skate world was still, there was a lot of homophobia in the skate world, and gay was like still definitely like one of the main insults that was like mainstream to use in skate culture. And as like someone who thought of myself as a political activist, I thought, oh, I better use like the quote unquote gayest song I could find. And that's why I chose this song. I picked this out, like, I knew this was going to be a hit, like, in the underground alt-rock scene world, and it was. So The Faint got huge, but I thought it obviously rocked as a song. This is all I did back then. I was either filming for this video, putting myself through community college, or going to shows, filling it with way too much action. Like, I had too much freedom or something. I mean, I was working jobs too. I'd be working and doing all this. Got a shout out during this time, Mike Squire. It's all about Mike Squire. He filmed, I think, about 100% of this footage, maybe 80 to 100% of this footage, filmed by Mike Squire. And he's still out there. We're connected on like LinkedIn and stuff. Like, I've chatted with him on email every now and then, but he was the G. So like Tactics was building this team, and they got to the point with enough skaters where they basically sponsored Mike as a photographer and filmer and helped him out in different ways with film. People were still shooting OG film. Like, not everybody had actually made the full cut to digital yet, and people were still shooting film back in this day. So they would like help out with some film, help out with some mini DV tapes, and just do what they can. Not much, but the board shop would do what they could to help. And of all the skaters on the team, I mean, a lot of us were really motivated, and a lot of us got with Mike all the time. But I was probably one of the most motivated to get with Mike all the time. And so me and Mike Squire, during these years here, we got to be real close, you know? I mean, we spent tons of time together, all types of shit, going to different places, going to get the skate trick, talking about where we need to get the skate trick, talking about what type of shots he wants to get, talking about my spots, talking about like my overall goals for the edit. And I think just having that energy of like, for the first time, like somebody else is involved that's like as stoked as you, the skater. Somebody is as stoked as the filmer and as stoked in the overall finished product, that you come together and the end result is better than just the sum of the parts. Like the two of you create a third thing, like a video part, that's better than just the sum of the parts, and better than either one of you could do alone. And that's like, when you're in that zone, in this game of creating skate parts, like that's the magic. So thanks, Mike Squire, for sharing in that magic. We created that magic together for a bunch of years here, and that was a special time. And I appreciate, and it's not easy being a filmer. All these ghetto ass places, we're behind random warehouses and shit, and we're out under the sun, and you just got to expect the filmer to always get the shot, and that's asking a lot. And the buddy did it, just about all of it. So that was all Mike Squire praise. Now we're just going to do a technical breakdown, and basically that's all I have to react to this. Dude, this was insane. This is Kelly Middle School in Eugene, And I just learned back nose blunts on small little things. And I was basically trying to film my first ever back nose blunt of my life with Mike Squire. And we were coming really close. I got an entire Goodwill fit. This is like a girl's like Beetlejuice striped undershirt thing with a tiny ass black rocker shirt and some torn up rocker jeans and some skate shoes. And I got the grandma sunglasses. They were like as big as dinner plates, and they like connected on the bottom of the frames, on the bottom of the lenses. And then I had like some 90s construction cap. I was like really feeling this fit. I used to skate in this fit a lot. And I was sliding them. I was getting in there and sliding them. And then on one of them, I shit you not, it fucking caught the edge of the thing and flipped itself over off the ground. And I could have like broken my ankles on that, but I just barely, that's like magic. I somehow just barely bounced on there. And right here, I already knew. I knew what had happened right here. And I was like, I should stay on this because that's like a really rare thing that happened. So like right here, I used all my effort to stay on it. And I was just like, I gotta stay on it. I made that movement. Look, I'm up on both toes, all the way turned. I'm like, fuck, I got it. I got it. So technically I did back nose blunt and ollie flip. Not very many people have done that. Like, I don't know, like it was an accident, but to me that's a make. Like if your feet land on the thing and your hands don't touch the ground and your butt doesn't touch the ground, it's a make. If you're playing a video game, it would say it was a make. I took a trip with Mike Squire down to Santa Monica and Venice and all that. I guess like half this footage is with Mike Squire on that trip. Back 50 full-size picnic table here. We went like golfing this day. We were like, his dad paid for us to go play a round of golf, and this was like before or after a round of golf. We just went up there. That was the first down handrail I ever backlipped. And then Jimmy Hulk, shout out Jimmy Hulk, doubled up. Long ass front board, that's pretty good. I'd be happy to do that today. Lip slide, Springfield, Oregon. Switch crook, I was getting really good at switch crooks. I was just kind of imitating Costin on that chomp on this part. I was just imitating Costin right here, really. This clip right here, it's got Bill Strobeck filming the face, and you see the fit. And you see the feet in place. It's got the background motion blur. We placed a sign. We went hunting for a sign all around. And I'm literally just now, for some reason, noticing that like 1, 2, 3, 4 bystanders are like staring at me to see if I'll get the make. I don't know how I'm just noticing that right now. And I'm like hauling ass fully. I was like sprinting from the library across the street because this chain just looked too perfect. They're still watching. Everybody's watching. And to this day, I think that's really good. Big old kickflip and catch. Perfect. I was hauling ass. I didn't even know I could do that. I just like an ollie would be too boring. Well, what else could I do? Like, what if I just do my very best kickflip possible? Yeah, so this is the end of that trip. This is like the day we're leaving. We had this like 1988 Honda Civic to drive back from LA to Eugene with. 20 years is getting kind of a long time to remember these details, but the way I remember it, we like had to leave, and one of us or both of us was like, okay, but we have to film down here. It was his idea or my idea or both of our idea. Like, okay, but we have to hit like the beach and like that famous sand gap, and so we went down there. We like had to do the drive all the way back. I wasn't making the switch heel at first, and I got this really sloppy one. I got this super sloppy one, and then I got another switch back heel on it. And we were like running late. There was like pressure to go. It's like, oh, we gotta get on the road. We gotta get over the mountain pass before it's dark, bro. And like one more. Switch back heel, the sand gap. I just remember it being pressure. Like, we gotta go right fucking now, bro. There's no time. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna switch back heel this like clean as fuck. I'm going to land the switchback heel perfectly, which like at the time, that's as good as like what the pros were doing in a line if you did a switchback heel over that. And I was so close to getting it, but then see that one I got? Look at that posture. I didn't know how to like turn your shoulders the way that you're going to be going. I'd be like still looking the regular way, still learning the skills of the trade. And then I was like fighting so hard for it right there. Yo, like looking like shit when you do that. And then there was like no time to get another one. It was like, we have to go. I was just copying Reynolds there, trying to be Reynolds with a cab down a big set. Then right here, this bench was the most perfect thing for skating. Beautiful view of North Eugene called Meadow View. And it was like undeveloped, just endless meadows. And you didn't get kicked out here for a long time. And the spot was like magical. There was like gaps, like ledges going across gaps of different sizes and perfect stacked mani pads. And then this thing was like a really hard concrete inner curve sea ledge. And I did this like no problems the way I remember it with Squier. It's like, I'm just going to fucking tail, frontside flip the whole thing. I never did that trick on film. I'd only done really like sloppy ones with no filming. And I did it really easy. And then I did this high beams. Oh, I guess I edited it out. I guess I cut it out, but right when I landed that, I just like instantly looked at the camera because I was like really surprised that I actually did it cleanly. And then this was, I think my roommate Jimmy filmed this. And we got an extension cord plugged into a public outlet in downtown Eugene. And they had just converted this from a walkway. It was like a walking mall. They converted it into a street, and this was like some new things they put up. And these ledges weren't skate stopped for a while. These planners are pretty big, and you didn't have very far to do the trick. And you had like one push, and then you had to ride this curved ledge and get over that. And this was backside flip was like my best trick of the time. And this was like as big as I thought I could go at the time. And I nailed it, did it cleanly. We had some construction lights on me. Shout out to my roommate for filming that. And then a nollie back heel. This is like opening week of the Springfield skate park. You can check the history books and let me know when that was. And this is like the first few weeks of opening. And this was just a result of being hyped on the sesh when like I think all these really good skaters were there, and everybody just right when the park opened, we're all just trying to do our best stuff immediately. And I was just pretty on right now. And then all these guys were doing really good stuff. So I just like busted a nollie back heel down a double set. Clean. Look at that. That was clean. Halt center clip right here. I was just feeling juiced one day. I think this is right when we got back from that California trip. And my roommate filmed this. And I would go with my roommate. He would BMX. And if he had a clip, I would film him and he would film me. And we would just go whatever, terrorize downtown, drink coffee, and crush everything, ride everywhere. Just get into some fun things. And I was just like feeling juiced this day. And I ran from as far back as you can see in the back of that shot. Just running, pushing. And this is like a 5-stair with like a 20-foot brick thing in front of it that I tried to clear. And to my knowledge, I don't know of anybody that tried this as a gap before me. And then like 3 years later, Frank Castanet did it. It's in a board sports video, and all shout outs to him. I don't know of anybody else that did it besides Frank, but me and Frank skated and filmed together a lot. And he is a bro. That's it. That's the 2003 part. Hope you liked it and got something out of it. And come back. We got a handful more of these. I was cranking out parts steadily till like 2013, and then there's even a couple more after that. So come back for more parts.